Mr. McGee.
All right. Well, you may have received a phone call this morning mentioning that buses may be running a little slow. Just for your information, I spoke with the busing contractor early on in the morning, about 7:20, and he was having problems with the buses getting to the bus stops on time, and he'd asked for a 2-hour delay of school. At that point, I had stated that, given that it's 7:20 in the morning, and given the fact that students were probably already at bus stops being ready to be picked up, at 7:25, 7:30, that we'd be leaving quite a few students stranded if we made that decision. I'd asked the bus contractor, I said, you're going to have to make the best you can to get to the students, because we already have students out in this weather. But we did send a school reach message out to parents notifying them that the buses may be running late. I just want you to know that, the bus contractor does a good job of getting up first thing in the morning and going out and looking at the situations. Normally, if it looks like it's going to be the type of weather like an ice event or a snow event that's going to prevent them from being able to run their routes in a timely manner, communication is going to happen immediately by 6 o'clock in the morning. That gives us plenty of time to get messaging out to students and their parents that the day is canceled or that the day is delayed. Today was just an unusual event because it happened so late. Initially, when the contractor dropped out, things looked pretty good. Checked out some of the bus stops, things were fine at 6 in the morning. However, with the sparse of rain that was coming down, and with the way the temperature was, by the time 7:15 rolled around, conditions had significantly shifted in some areas of our district to make it icy. With that all having been said, by the time buses ran and picked up kids, we only had a couple of buses that ran a little late, and most of the students were here at school on time for class to start. So I just want you to know that we do have procedures in place for trying to deal with this. Today we could have dealt with it a little sooner, it would have been helpful, but it was a last-minute decision, and for student safety reasons, I didn't want kids left at a bus stop delaying school for 2 hours, because that would have been a major decision. I'd asked the contractor to just go ahead, try to get to the kids, take their time to do so, and we notify the parents of what was going on. When the school reach message went out, one of the things we need to realize is that it's a major phone database that's national. It's a big company. There could be hundreds of schools that are calling in at the same time, and if that's the case, we get put into a queue system. That means our phone calls will go out as soon as they possibly can. Sometimes the calls will go out immediately, other times it'll take 15, 20 minutes for those calls to go out. In our case, we had a split on communication. Some parents got the phone calls within 10 minutes, others did not get it for 20 to 25 minutes. I still think 25 minutes is pretty good response time compared to what it used to be, where we'd call the radio stations and notify parents that way. So I am still impressed with that system and believe it works well for the district.
Pat, do we have questions about that?
Let's let him finish.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Now, the second thing that I wanted to report with the septic system, as you know, the septic system is complete. We're in the stage of a punch list where we have created a punch list, and the contractor and subcontractors are walking through, making final completions on some of the things that need to occur on this project. We do have some retainage, a 5% retainage held back on the system, so we're holding a significant amount of money to make sure and ensure that the project gets completed correctly. But we still have some punch list items that need to be completed, and once this weather breaks a little bit, we could probably get some of the subcontractors on site to finish up items that we know still exist. So if you see the contractor here on the septic system, please be aware it's just standard right now. We are running it. It is working well for us, but there are little tweaks to make it run more efficiently, and that's what we'll be achieving as you see the contractor here making some minor changes to the system as it runs. State wrestling tournament, as Mr. Bearlocker stated, They'll be going down to Billings. I'm going to be the administrative designee at the tournament for the school district, so I will go down and take this opportunity to support the wrestling team. One thing is, because of my position, I have trouble sometimes supporting all the teams, getting to all their events. I did get a chance to go to one of their home events this year, and I really enjoy going in and seeing the wrestlers wrestle. You know, wrestling as a sport, it's just a different sport than many other, and I really respect the students that participate in it. They have a lot of passion. They pour their heart and soul into it, and it's hard. It's a hard, physically demanding sport, and it's exciting to be down in Billings with the boys and cheering them on. I know they're going to do us proud. Adult education. I want you to know that we have adult education classes going on. One of the classes that are being offered is a Zumba class that is taking place in the Looking Glass shop on Saturday mornings. We did have one morning where, on a Saturday morning, one Saturday morning we had 22 adults show up for the Zumba class, which, you know, led us to be very excited that we have, you know, that many people in our community that are looking to get a class from the school district. You know, if it teaches them fitness, that'll be great. We do have other classes like yoga and ceramics and music classes that are being taught, and we are seeing better levels of participation this year than we have in the past, and I think the program is beginning to really take hold with Ingrid Miller's leadership on that program. So adult ed is running strong right now. Driver's education for the winter session has opened up. Fred is still our driver's ed teacher, and he's doing a great job for us, and we are looking at the vans. We do have one van that is up there in mileage, and we may need to turn it over. So we'll be looking at that this summer to see whether or not it's time for replacement of one of our driver's ed vans. We do have the money in the driver's ed account to do so if we need to. Just be aware that it's, you know, once we get up there and mileage on those vans, we have a tendency to rotate them out, move one more van down into our carrier van, and the oldest van being traded in. So we're looking at that right now. And then the hot lunch program. You may get some parents that are calling you and asking you what is going on with the hot lunch program. We are right now really hounding some parents about their bills. We have sent letters out several times to parents about their hot lunch accounts, and now we are making some pretty aggressive phone calling saying, you know, you need to get your lunch balance, you know, paid up with the school district. It will resort to us having to notice those parents that their kids cannot eat hot lunch if the bill gets large enough, and we're not going to allow them to, you know, run a big bill up on us. If we do that and a kid shows up to school without a lunch, we will still feed the child. If that occurs, then the parent will be noticed that that's neglectful behavior, that they're neglecting the basic needs of their child. And if they do that a couple of times, we can turn them into family services for neglectful behavior and treatment of their child. Hopefully it won't resort to that, but for a few parents, you know, they're pretty strong-willed, and we'll be just as strong-willed on our end to say, get your bill paid. So I want you to know that we're working on that pretty strong right now, and if you get phone calls about it, you'll know that you know, we've initiated a pretty aggressive plan to inform parents to get their bills paid up with us. And then as far as students go, I would have to say, you know, we get drawn into what do our students do, how are they doing, you know, what's going on in our students' lives. As far as Florence Carlton is concerned, I'm very proud of our student body. I look at it and I see students that represent us very well. I don't see any students out there that I would rather have than Florence Carlton students. When you take a look at the records of what our students accomplish and how they go about accomplishing things, I would say that they do it very well. They make you very proud. If you had a chance or an opportunity to go up in the weight room and see the students that are working out after school, Today, we have more high school students up in that weight room than we did 5 years ago. These kids are embracing, the opportunities that they have at this school, and they're taking advantage of it, and we're providing, some supervision. We have Coach Parsons, Coach Venners, Coach Gilbert come in, and they go up and sit in the weight room and make sure that it's open and available for the kids to, have that opportunity to use it. And when you go up there, the nice thing about it is they're respectful. The kids have good manners, they're respectful, they're engaged, and I just think that overall, we don't give these kids enough credit for, how they carry themselves. Florence students carry themselves very well, and when they go off to higher education, or if they go off to a trade school, they represent us very well. Very proud of the accomplishments that our students achieve. And I just want to make sure that that message comes across, because too many times we bog down in the negativity in our world. When it comes to our school and our kids, I don't think there's a lot of negativity that's there. I think that we can be very proud of who we are. That's my report.
All right, thank you very much. So now we're on to new business and the I'm sorry, just one quick question.
Yeah. I was just wondering, I want to thank you, Mr. McGee, for clearing that up, because I'm not going to lie to you, I was irritated when the call came after my son already left. So that brought a thought up, does the district wait for the bus to call him, or does the district go, hey, we haven't heard from him yet, we're going to call it right now? Because then, if it's 7 o'clock, you can go, or if it's 6:30, whatever, you go, I haven't heard from him yet, I'm going to make a call that, hey, the bus is going to be delayed or whatever. I just wondering.
Yeah, part of the busing, our busing contractor is our busing director, and he's in charge of managing the buses, getting the employees for the buses and running those. And one of the things that he's discharged with ensuring is that the environment is safe for him to go out and to pick up students and to take care of the students. Now, like today was really an anomaly. I mean, when he called, I was looking at the clock going, oh my God, could you pick a worse time to call? Because we were right in the middle of students that are at a bus stop and students that are still at home. And what do you do? And quite honestly, the decision that I had to make was, he'd requested a 2-hour delay to school. If I do a 2-hour delay to school, how do we go about to every bus stop to find what children were there and their parents are already headed to work in town? And in that instance, that decision had to be made to say, please try to get to those students, because we can't leave them stranded out there.
But can the district make it before they call?
Well, the point is, he's making the decision on whether his buses are running or not. It's his job, his responsibility, that's what we pay his contract for.
Okay.
I can't tell him, no, don't run your buses, or run your buses.
Okay.
He's the professional in that is doing that, so we're hiring him for his expertise in that. Now, could I do that? Yes, I could. But will I do that? I'm going to defer to his professionalism in that, because that's his business and what he does day in and day out.
Real quick, if I was drifting off, I'm sorry, but I
Don't
think,
forget to come up.
oh, was there, if somebody mentioned it, I'm sorry if I was drifting off in here, was there a mention about the senior night this week? I was a little confused by the scheduling. It was on Tuesday, which is obviously right now, and then it got switched to Wednesday, and of course it didn't make the Falcon View. There was stuff going on, but there was absolutely no mention for, the senior nights for this week for both boys and girls. So I was just kind of curious what happened.
Mr. Bailocker, can you?
I think there was an outreach call.
I think there was a school reach call last week.
Well, there was. I just wondered, why was there a switch?
Well, it's a long story,
Oh,
but the schedules are made a year in advance.
right. I didn't know if it was because of the board meeting or...
Well, it is. We try not to ever have
Right.
them. Next 2 times we play Loyola, it's board meeting nights again next year. If you look at next year's calendar, I've been doing the schedule. On Saturday nights, we do not want to play games that are close, because this week we have to go to Big Fort, and Frenchtown, the other team, has to go to Loyola. We're in a regionalized scheduling, and so on Saturday we save for the long trips. We play a lot of Class A schools, they have long trips. So anytime we play Class A schools other than the Valley schools, well, with the Valley schools, we try to play them on Tuesdays, Thursdays, leave the Fridays and Saturdays for the long schools for academic reasons, keep the kids in the classroom. In this case, Loyola has a carnival in their gym on Friday night. On Saturday night, they are traveling somewhere. Thursday night, they're already playing Frenchtown. Next year, we will get to play Loyola on Thursday nights. We kind of alternate who gets that game on Thursday night. Nobody likes to play on Wednesday nights. It's kind of a church night.
So that's
In fact, the way that we got the game switched with Loyola was get a hold of their diocese, and they made the call that they would finally let us have it on Wednesday night. We don't like to have them on Tuesday night because of board meetings. Monday night, none of the coaches want to play on Monday night because there's no prep for it. This one is my fault. Originally Loyola and us made the plan to play on Tuesday night, even if at the board meeting. Then they went to their diocese, and they made that call. We didn't connect again. And they had it scheduled on Wednesday night, which is incredible for Loyola. I'm going to tell you right now, it's the first time in 10 years I've seen them have an activity on Wednesday night. We do it on Tuesday night. Next year, when we play Loyola, it'll be on Thursday nights both times. Frenchtown will play Loyola, I believe, on Tuesday nights because they don't have their board meetings on that night. I think they go the first.
Thanks for clearing that up.
But it's just,
It was, because Wednesday, like I knew, it was kind of close, we have one of our players in the churches and
yeah,
whatever. So
we try to keep Wednesday night open. The only other night we play on a Wednesday night is MEA weekend, to try to give the kids a break and play maybe on a Tuesday, Wednesday.
Thanks,
That's
man.
what happened.
Thanks.
Okay, so, Mr. Finley.
Could I just say, I'd just like to expand on Mr. McGee's deal a little bit about the kids. I see in this morning's paper that we have the highest graduation rate here in Florence, in the Bitterroot Valley of all the schools. But I was a little confusing. It was a cohort graduation rate is how they classified it. What is cohort? Is that
Well,
all your classmates for 4 years? Or?
Well, they're taking into consideration different factors. There's the dropout rate, there's different things that go into building that number. I would have to get all of that information to you in order to adequately answer your question as to exactly how the cohort is designed. But there are different factors that go into it. So, if you do have a high dropout rate, it's going to affect the overall numbers significantly. But there are other things that can influence it in a positive direction, which we do.
It did attempt to define it, but I didn't know if it was freshman through senior or just what it all entailed. But anyway, we do have the highest graduation rate, which is.
Well, I might say that I think it was 10 or 12 years ago. The study wasn't put on, it wasn't the same way, but they did a study of all the valley schools, and at that point, Florence had the highest seniors graduating that went on to whether it be college or trade school, but they had the highest percentage at that point also. So I think that bears well.
Mm-hmm.